right? So one of the cool things about our trigonometric functions, if we know the arc length, okay, so our radian measure was 1, our radian measure was 2, our radian measure was pi over 2. The sine function is actually spelled S-I-N-E, okay? We abbreviate that as sin, okay? Now, there's no sin in math. It's the perfect science, okay? So its sine of theta is equal to the y-coordinate of our ordered pair, okay? It will always be the y-coordinate of our ordered pair. Cosine, spelled C-O-S-I-N-E, we abbreviate it C-O-S, of theta. It matches our x-coordinate, right? So how I like to remember that, alphabetical order, x then y, cosine and sine. Okay, they're alphabetically in order, all right, just like the ordered pair, x then y, cosine, sine, all right? Now, tangent's a little bit trickier, all right? We spell that T-A-N-G-E-N-T, and we abbreviate it tan, okay? For tan, I think it's easier to look at 0, pi, and that negative pi over 2. All right, to see, is there some kind of relationship between your coordinates and the value that you got for tangent? Is there some kind of relationship? We get zeros and ones in all those places, right? It is sine over cosine, okay? It's that y-coordinate divided by the x. It is sine over cosine, or as we refer to it, y over x, okay? So anytime you're looking for tangent, right, you're going to take the y-coordinate and divide it by the x, okay? All right. So you can stop on your lab. It's all good, all right? And go over to your note sheet, and let's write this down. Okay, these are our first 3 trig functions. They are the ones we'll use most frequently. Sine matches your y-coordinate, cosine matches your x, and tangent, sine over cosine, or y over x. All right, now these should be the trig functions you're most familiar with from geometry, right? You did SOHCAHTOA, the right triangle. Okay, well today we're talking about the unit circle. And with the unit circle, there are actually 6 trig functions. Okay, there are actually 6. The first 3, sine, cosine, and tangent. The next 3, all right, are secant. And I have this lady that I watch that teaches math videos, and she says secant, and it drives me crazy. The secant, I'm like, what can it not do? You know? Anyway, I was like, I need you to be a redneck like me. So we have secant. We have cosecant. And we have cotangent, all right? Now, collectively, these are referred to as reciprocal identities, okay? And reciprocals just mean that they flip something else, okay? They are the reciprocal of something else, okay? Secant, we will abbreviate as SEC, best conference, right? Cosecant, we will abbreviate as CSC, and cotangent, COT. Now, this is the only part that's weird because it doesn't match like you think it should, okay? Secant is the reciprocal of cosine, so it is taking cosine and flipping it upside down, or the reciprocal of your x-coordinate. Okay, so secant goes with cosine. Doesn't seem like it should. All right, seems like it should go with cosecant, but it doesn't. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, which is the reciprocal of your y-coordinate, or just 1 over y. Cotangent's the reciprocal of tangent, okay? And so when we say the reciprocal of tangent, we could say that a couple of ways. We could say 1 over tangent, But since tangent's already a ratio, I could just flip it, cosine over sine, which is x over y. Okay? They all mean the same thing. All right? They all mean the same thing. So the only new part I'm adding to today are the definitions of these functions. Okay? We're still going to move around the unit circle. We're still going to find the ordered pair. But then we're going to pick the right piece. We're going to pick the x. We're going to pick the y. Or we're going to take the y divided by the x. Or we're going to take the reciprocal of the x. Okay? So the only thing we're adding today is to know which coordinate to pick or how to do a relationship. All right? That's it. It's the only new piece today. All right? So sine is y. Cosine is x. Tangent, y over x. Secant, reciprocal of cosine, flip it. Cosecant, flip the y. Cotangent, flip the tangent. All right? X over y. All right? So we pull the right one, and then for the reciprocals, we flip them. All right? Okay, let's do some. All right, let's do a couple together. Then we'll let you practice a few. All right. So here's our first one. Sine at, forgot how to talk, 2 pi over 3. All right. So which family are we using? The 3 family. So I have 3 and 6. It's a positive arc length. So we're going to start over here on the right side, and we're going to go counterclockwise. Which quadrant are we going to land in for 2 pi over 3? The second one, okay? In that quadrant, and this is the important part, is my ordered pair positive or negative? What are the signs of my ordered pair? Negative, positive, okay? And that's what I do, all right? Now, I'm doing sine, so which one of the coordinates do I want? I want the y. So my answer is going to be positive. You don't have to put that there, but that's just a reminder for me, all right? The last thing I have to know is, what's the ordered pair for over 3? 1/2. Square root of 3 over 2. Well, I want the y, so which one are we taking? Square root of 3 over 2, and that's my answer. Okay? So the only thing we're adding, all right, is which coordinate do we take? Okay? That's it. All right, let's look at the next one. Cosine at 0. Where is my 0 arc length? It's at A. What ordered pair is sitting right there? 1, 0. I'm doing cosine, so which coordinate do I want? I want x. The answer is 1. Okay. All right, now let's do one that gets really fun. All right. Tangent typically is more complicated. Can you guess why? Yeah, there's more stuff to do, okay? And the ordered pairs aren't real nice. So let's look for over 6. So let's set that up. Be 6 and 12. We got to get to 17. We got to figure out which quadrant we're in for 17. Okay. So I start at A. If I go once, that's 12. Halfway, so 6 more, it's 18. So which quadrant are we going to land in? Quadrant 2. Okay. So my ordered pair is going to be a negative and a positive, all right? But we need to know that ordered pair. For the over 6 family, all right, if I'm using my left hand, pointer finger goes down, so I get square root of 3 over 2, and I get 1/2, okay? So square root of 3 over 2, and I get 1/2. Now, this is where we're going to have to do a little work, okay? Because tangent is sine over cosine, or y over x. So we're going to have to take 1/2 and divide it by negative square root of 3 over 2. Now, we've not divided fractions in a hot minute, okay? These will all be non-calculator, okay? What do we do when we divide fractions? Keep, change, flip, all right? So 1/2 times 2 over the square root of 3. What's going to happen to your 2's? They're going to cancel out. And I get 1 over the square root of 3. Now, from Algebra 2, you should remember that we don't leave radicals in the denominator because it, makes the old-timey mathematicians mad. All right? So how do we fix it? All right. We multiply by square root of 3 in the numerator and the denominator. Okay? When we do that, on the top, 1 times the square root of 3 is square root of 3. Well, what's square root of 3 times square root of 3? Square root of 9, which is just 3. So my answer is square root of 3 over 3. So you do have to rationalize your denominators. That's just that extra step. We got to divide fractions and then rationalize denominators. Okay? Y'all try the next two on where it says example 1 on the back side. Oh, yeah, it would be negative. I lost my negative, didn't I? Thank you, ma'am. All right, so let's look at the first one. All right, both of these are the over 4 family, so I'm just going to make one little chart to mess with. Okay, if my angle is negative pi over 4, we still start at A, but which way are we going to go? We're going to go clockwise, so we're going to go down, and then that's going to land me in the 4th quadrant. All right, my signs there are going to be positive, negative. What's my ordered pair going to be? Yep, square root of 2 over 2, and then square root of 2 over 2. If I want sine, which one do I want? Y. So the answer is negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay. All right, let's do the next one. The next one is 11 pi over 4. So this one's going to take a little bit more working, right? It's positive, so we're going to start in the counterclockwise. I'd go 8. Halfway is 4. Too much, not enough. Too much. So we're going to go back up there in that second quadrant. I really must love that second quadrant. We land there a lot. Okay. So my ordered pair, it's over 4. It would be negative square root of 2 over 2 and square root of 2 over 2. Right? Tangent says we take sine over cosine, or y divided by x. What happens when I take the same thing divided by itself? It's just 1, okay? So you could just say that, hey, that's going to be 1. But what kind of 1 is it going to be? Negative 1, because one of them was negative. Okay? So negative 1 is what we should get. Okay. Let's do about 3 reciprocal functions, and we're going to call it done. All right, we're going to call it done. Okay. So let's do this over 4 family again. But this time let's find 15. Where's it going to land? Quadrant 4. Okay, 8, 16, so back up 1. Down there, we're going to have square root of 2 over 2 and then negative square root of 2 over 2. Cosecant is the reciprocal of who? Sine. So what we're going to do is take this y coordinate and we're going to flip it. You could, or just flip it upside down. So 2 over negative square root of 2. That's what I would do. Reciprocal means flip it. Okay? So it's a reciprocal, so just flip. Right? Now, we can't leave that square root of 2 in the bottom. So let's multiply by negative square root of 2 over negative square root of 2. Okay? So on the top, I'm going to get negative 2 square root of 2 over 2. All right? Can I simplify some more? Yep, these 2's are going to reduce, and so I end up with just negative square root of 2. All right, let's do this 6th one. So I got 6 and I got 12. We're going in the negative direction, so we're going to start at A and go clockwise to get to 19. All right, I'm going to go 12, which is 1 rotation. Halfway would be 18. Do I need to keep going or stop? Keep going. There we are, 2nd quadrant again. I told y'all I have a propensity to go there. All right, so that's going to give me negative and then positive. But let's think for a second. What is the ordered pair going to be for over 6? Square root of 3 over 2 and a 1/2. So square root of 3 over 2 and a 1/2. Cotangent is x over y. So we're going to take negative square root of 3 over 2 and divide it by 1/2. So do a little fraction arithmetic. Negative square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. Oh, I like this one. What happens to the 2's? They cancel out, and I would get just a negative square root of 3. Right. Let's do the secant one because we haven't done a secant. Right. Now for this one, okay, 4 pi. Plain old pi. It's an even pi, so where's it going to land? At 2 pi. It's going to land right here at 2 pi, okay? So I got pi and I got 2 pi, so it's going to land right there. What's my ordered pair right there? 1, 0, okay? Secant is the reciprocal of who? Cosine. What's the reciprocal of 1? 1, okay? Now, if we had done cosecant there, cosecant at 4 pi, what's the reciprocal of 0? Undefined. Okay? So just be sure you understand the difference. Right? If you flip a 0, it's undefined. Okay? So if you flip a 0, it's undefined. All right, here's what I have for you for lesson practice. There's a worksheet, Evaluating Trig Functions worksheet, where you get to practice all of those. Okay? I think there's like 12 on there. Okay? Tomorrow, the only thing we're doing is we're going to do a little activity when you come in to practice this. It's called Odd Man Out or Odd One Out. It's a group activity where you'll get 3 cards. One of them they're not equal. So 2 of the cards are going to be equal to practice evaluating trig functions before your quiz. Okay, so we'll do some practice. So tomorrow you have a quiz, all right, over what we did today, evaluating trig functions. And the other thing that's on it, and this is why I put it on there, do you know that big unit circle we filled out with everything? That's on there, okay? And that's on there so you have it as a reference for when you're evaluating your trig functions. Yeah, oh, you're going to fill it out. Okay? It might be a bad reference. You want to be sure you get the right reference, okay? Fill out the entire unit circle, okay? So that was on the second part of your notes yesterday.
Are we keeping?
You do not need to keep your lab sheet and the string. You can throw that away. All right? That was just for us to discover, to put it in our notes. Okay? No wrap up today. I'll take it off. Okay, no wrap up today since we only got about 9 minutes left. Right?